Good to go? All right. Medical. Chris Olave did not practice with the ankle. Chase Young did not practice with an illness. Alante did not practice just with a personal matter. A couple guys limited. Jawan with the neck. Alvin with the ankle. And then Ridgeway was shoulder but full participant coming off of the reserve. So those are the adjustments there, and open up for questions.
Have you guys made a decision on Ridgeway? Will he take that open roster spot? Or?
Yeah, he'll be available. Yep.
And with Devin Neal, you mentioned him on Monday missing the time in training camp. Is there a way for a rookie like that to make up for lost time? How have you seen him?
Yeah. No, he's made up for it. I think, through practice, he's ready to go. He hopped in there in the game, and it's obviously still a limited role from a volume standpoint, but he hopped in there, handled everything great. He's ready to go.
What does he do well as a runner?
Great vision, good cut. He's got a good balance to him. I think he just has a good feel for the run game.
Have you been a part of a staff or a season that was sort of this intentional about giving so many rookies playing time?
I don't know. Sometimes rosters are younger than others. Young guys do play. They get to grow as they go. I think we got a nice little mix. We got a nice blend of some veteran players who've played a lot of football and some younger guys that are getting exposure. And so, again, we're going for it each and every week.
I know Mickey Loomis even said on the radio Monday that you guys kind of all went in eyes open at the developmental aspect of this year. Was that something you guys had talked about as early as August, September about, hey, we want to find ways to get these guys on the field?
We're developing younger guys. We know that. But at the same time, that doesn't change the objective every Sunday. We still got to go out and play better football, coach better football, and go win some games. And so, that can be independent of what happens on Sundays as you're developing those guys, which we think is really important as we go.
Kellen, Baker said today that when he's played the Saints in the past, that it hasn't exactly been clean on their part. I know obviously you weren't part of that, and that he just doesn't like the Saints. Do you think comments like that can kind of help fuel your team a little more in a big rivalry game?
Division games are always fun, no matter what organization I've been a part of. Division games are fun. They're a little bit different than all the rest of the games. You're going to play them twice in a season. There's a lot of commonality. You know each other very, very well. Obviously, my understanding, this is a phenomenal rivalry. They've had a ton of success lately. We've had success. It's going to be a fun battle. Baker's playing as good a quarterback play in this league, and so it'll be a fun battle.
Will you maybe talk more about it, if you don't mind? I think we asked you every week about your thoughts on the opposing quarterback, his former quarterback, and just his journey is kind of unique in his way where he is now.
Yeah, ton of respect for Baker's journey. To go have success in Cleveland, have to navigate some things through a couple years there, going to a couple other spots, and then coming out on top in Tampa and playing just phenomenal football. Again, he's playing as well as anyone in this league. His confidence, his swagger, his decisiveness, it shows up each and every week. His ability to make big plays, and they've won a bunch of games down the stretch because the ball's in his hands, and that's all the credit you can ask for from a quarterback.
With Blake, is there like a clock on the patience of allowing him to get himself out of it, but also not getting the points, or maybe not putting yourself in the best position to win because you're not getting those?
Yeah, we got to be more successful there. Blake knows it. We got to keep going. We got to keep going. Do kickers miss some shots at times in this league? Yes. And so there's a lot of guys who have grown through these, get through it, have a ton of success on the other end of some adversity. And so we feel like Blake's can get there, and we have a lot of confidence in him.
Do you anticipate Quincy Riley continuing to start even after Isaac Gadden is fully healthy?
Quincy's playing great. Obviously he can start right. He'll start right now, and as Ike kind of gets back into this thing, we'll see how everything progresses. But Quincy's done a phenomenal job. He's made plays, and you can see again from a young developmental standpoint, you can see his weeks stack on top of each other, which is credit to him.
So you expect Quincy to still start this week?
Yeah. We'll anticipate Quincy starting, and then we'll kind of see where Ike is as the week progresses.
I was going to say, what makes it so difficult facing Todd Bowles' defense?
Continuous stress on you mentally, just from a threat of pressure, a threat of multiple looks. He's going to apply a ton of pressure on you, and he's always done a good job. He's not afraid to be aggressive, challenge you in a lot of situations. There's not a lot of easy yards. You got to earn everything, and so we've played obviously Tampa a lot of times over the years at various spots, and it's always been a fun battle. I have a ton of respect for Todd. He's arguably one of, if not the best defense coach in this league.
Is he very good at, I guess, in-game stuff, like adjusting? Is he really good at that?
He does a great job of adapting to each and every week of the opponent and understand, okay, what do they do really well and how do I take that away and, make you play maybe a different style or have to counter move them in a lot of different ways. And so he does that going into the week. He does a great job during the game. Again, it's been a battle every time. He's really, really good.
Devin Neal had that really good blitz pickup. Do you see that kind of just consistently, like when you guys are evaluating that?
That showed up in the college film from Devin, which was a little bit of an impressive aspect, was his ability to protect. We felt like that would give him a head start compared to a lot of guys coming from college where protection isn't necessarily part of their tools early in college careers. And so, he's done a really nice job. He hopped in there, handled it well. He'll be just fine.
The other aspect of that too, like on that one play, like Spencer looks like so incredibly calm and confident that it's going to get picked up. Is that kind of rare to see a quarterback just so even like when that pressure's coming in like that?
Yeah, that's an important aspect of this thing. Is you got to trust your teammates, trust that everyone's doing their part. Devin did a phenomenal job of getting back across. He had to navigate something on the other side initially in the protection game, and then came back across. And Spence was willing to keep his eyes downfield, stay in there. Spence has a bunch of examples of that through the early part of the season, hanging in there. Maybe a subtle move here and there, but he's done a really good job in the pocket.
What did you make of you guys have done such a good job taking care of turnovers Sunday this year. What did you make the turnovers Sunday? Was it was part of that just this game situation you were in?
Yeah, unfortunate that I think credit to those guys. They've done a phenomenal job. Obviously, there's a lot of evidence to support that those guys are creating these turnovers. The fumble, we got to protect the ball in the pocket. We can do better there. We had a couple plays in there where, a deep shot where we kind of maybe took a little bit of a risk there in the late scramble phase. And then the last play, we got to be cleaner in the fourth down situations. And so, they made some plays. We obviously get to learn from them. The previous weeks I thought we did a really good job, but you can't come out of this game losing your stinger and becoming passive. That's the one thing you can't do coming out of a game like this is you still got to attack. You still got to play your style of football. And so, you just got to understand you got to protect it a little more.
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both this week. Is 7 weeks enough to kind of prepare for Abuka and Seth Johnson? Are you dipping into the college film?
No, we're just watching Bucks film. These guys have played a bunch of football. They're playing really well.
What do you guys like about Pete Werner to keep him in there still mostly full time, rather than just make the switch like you guys did with Riley?
No, Pete's a really good player. Pete's a really good player. We think really highly of him. We're just getting some rotations going there a little bit just to provide some depth and get some experience from those younger guys. But Pete's playing some really good football, and again, he's a really good combination with him and DeMario playing there on the field, and so he's done a nice job.
What is he at? How did they compliment?
Sorry. Pete's got great vision. He's got a great understanding of the defense. I think he diagnoses plays really, really well, and he's just a sound football player. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes, and so you have a lot of confidence in him going out there and executing the plan.
You guys don't do like a ton of like traditional running back screens. Like, is there a way to get that action just kind of like in more creative, different like space advantageous ways?
Yeah, it's definitely part of something that we haven't probably dipped into as much as we'd like. Sometimes that's the way these games go and these game plans go, and it's not without practicing them or putting them on the call sheet. It's just a matter of getting to them in different fashions and situations. And so, certainly it's something that hopefully we see more as the season progresses. It may not be this week, but as it goes, I think there's definitely value there.
Anything subtle that might not show up on film that Kellen Banks has really shown improvement in the last 3-4 weeks?
I think he's just really consistent. He doesn't get beat. He handles the challenging looks. You get on edges at tackle. You get on edges, and his ability to recover. And I thought the cool thing was just him and Trevor working together more and more now. Like their communication is getting really, really good. The deep pass to Chris Olave, really, it's Kelvin communicating with Trevor to get the O-line to squeeze the blitz and leave the defensive end who's dropping. Ultimately, they give us the opportunity to throw the deep shot. If not, we have a protection challenge there inside with 3 guys blitzing inside the A-gap. And so their ability to see it, diagnose it. Kelvin's really the main guy that gets it going. And so I think he's playing with a lot of confidence now.
You mentioned Monday that a lot of people have to pick up Eric's communication slack. As far as primary goes on some of the calls, would you anticipate that going to some of the things he was doing going to quarterbacks more?
I think it still starts the O-line. Those guys communicate at a really high level. The QB always has his tools within protections and adjustments that he can utilize, and so I think that group's been working well together. And there's an adjustment without Eric, but they'll handle it well.
Have y'all made the decision on who's going to place Eric? Are you going to
Yeah, we'll just start Luke. Luke at center. He's done a really good job. He's played some good football. Fired up for him, and keep the continuity at the right side and the left side. And I think we're trending well.
And how do you go about just when it comes to losing a captain as well for the season? Is there anything that you have to do around that?
Yeah, I think it's just an opportunity for more voices to kind of subtly find their space to increase a little bit. Eric, when he can be around during this recovery process, obviously those guys will love to see him. He means the world to these guys, but at the same time, some other guys, some of those offensive linemen, gain a little more voice. Caesar will gain a little more. Kelvin, Tolley as they go. Trevor, we got some experience there with those guys that they can find their opportunities to kind of lead the charge a little bit.
Is Fortner's veteran experience kind of the reason why you got the nod over something?
Yeah, he's played center in this league for a little while. He's responded well the last couple weeks. He's handled a bunch of stuff. I think it'll be a good transition for our guys to just continue to build collectively as a group. And we know we have some other options as we go. Those guys are developing well as well.
You talk a lot about patience with the quarterback. Is Baker Mayfield kind of the prime example of that?
Yeah, Baker's a great example. It feels like most of that draft class is a great example. This quarterback position, sometimes it takes time. They're going to go through. This is an awesome opportunity for Spence. You deal with the adversity game, and you get to respond. And so, all these guys have gone through this. I think you're continuing to develop these guys, and they'll continue to grow.
Y'all really effective in the scramble drill defense of plaster. Is that something that you spend more time on when you're going against the Caleb Spence or Baker kind of does the same thing?
I thought our defensive staff did an awesome job last week, really emphasizing that phase of it. I thought our back end executed at a really high level. You watch those clips over and over, and there's not guys breaking free in those scramble phases. Our guys, stayed attached really, really well. Our rush continued to, Caleb's going to extend plays. That's how he plays, and certainly a lot of the quarterbacks in this league are going to extend plays. And so the D-line has to just keep coming, keep going after it. They'll find a way to get there, and then that back end did a really good job.
On the scramble drill, what's the coaching point on that? What are you guys trying to do different in that situation?
Defensively?
No, offensively, where Spencer threw the pick.
Yeah.
To Sheet, what are you guys trying to do different?
Yeah, you're always trying to find green grass. There's kind of a guideline system that we have in place, and so the most important thing is about finding grass and finding space and working back towards the quarterback. And when you do have those deep shots, you don't want to not take them, but you got to see the other element of that. A lot of times those turnovers always happen. Jonas had one against Buffalo. It was a very similar play where those balls deep outside the numbers. These safeties are really talented, really athletic, and they can get to those throws if the ball's up in there long enough.
Spencer seemed to almost point did he telegraph it at all, where he wanted to go?
I thought the safety did an excellent job breaking on it. Yeah, and then that's a challenging throw as you're moving to your left as a righty QB and you're trying to get it downfield. And have we seen those plays executed? Yeah, you've seen those plays turned into big plays, but there's obviously risk that came as a result of that as well.
Is that a throw you want to see made in that?
I think you just got to see the safety. It's first and second down. It's not got to have it moments. And so in a perfect world, you're finding another completion, moving on to the next play.
Did Eric and Kendrick have surgery for their injuries? If not, is that something you anticipate happening?
Yeah, they'll have surgery soon, and so they'll be on their plans.
Kellen, when you see a guy like Baker, his ability to the scramble drill seems to be something it's almost like Houdini. Is there, in your experience, is that just an innate feel? I know you don't coach it, but I mean, some guys just have that ability to make something out of nothing as opposed to.
Yeah, there's a lot of instinctual elements to it, just because, you compare it a lot of times to fast break basketball. And, there's guidelines to, everyone was introduced to basketball and the fast break and, the 1 goes here and the 3 goes here. And okay, cool. Everyone learned that fast break drill as a kid, but there's a lot of intuition and instincts that go into that thing. And he does a phenomenal job. Baker's always made plays this way. I think when you look at what our league's becoming and a lot of these top quarterbacks, they do make these explosive explosive, big-time plays in the off-schedule component. You just look at a lot of these guys, and so Baker's leading the charge. He's done a phenomenal job of it. Going all the way back to college, it showed up. He's continued to do it in a really talented way, and so it's a challenge. It's a challenge for defenses because you can say, okay, great, we covered the initial play. Well, here comes the second part of the play, and this is just as explosive as the original play was, and so the time clock's different, the effort's different. It's got to keep going, and so credit to Baker. He's doing a phenomenal job with it.